All right, hello again, everybody. By unpopular demand, you're back with Tom and Fern, and I'm Tom.
I'm Fern. You know, a lot of our viewers out there are probably saying, WT&F, these guys are back again?
Yeah, my mom called.
Back.
My mom called every week.
Yeah. Did you have any groundswell of support for our return? Or really?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, it's huge.
I didn't feel ground or swell,
Yeah.
but maybe you did.
Yeah. So we're going to talk today a little bit about a bill in the Florida legislature.
A bill.
Senate Bill 684, it's called. And this is called, it's labeled Choice in Sports.
Choice in sports.
All right, and so essentially, as some of you may know, students in Florida can choose to go to a different public school than their districted, than where they live, if there's capacity, blah, 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 blah.
And it's a certain period, and if there's an academic reason for them to go there.
Yeah,
if there's an ACE program, they can transfer.
No, you only have to do that.
No, right now you do during school choice. That is the school choice period. You just can't switch nilly-nilly. You got to have an academic reason for switching.
I think you're wrong. But
No, I'm pretty right about that.
Yeah.
But what this bill is going to essentially do is it'll be year-round. You can do this.
For sports.
For sports. Well,
for sports.
Not just for sports. This includes for students. It's like if a flute player wants to transfer 50 miles away to another band,
but it says,
she can do that.
It would allow students to immediately be eligible to join an existing team if the activity roster has not reached the maximum size and the student has the requisite skills and abilities to participate.
Which is ridiculous.
Why so, sir?
Well, really, I've talked to a bunch of coaches, and you got coaches believing that this might create superpowers. Like if you can go to any school and you're a baseball player, why wouldn't you want to go to Sarasota?
Like Sarasota.
And why wouldn't you want to, if you have transportation, drive 40 miles just to go to school there? That's what this bill is sort of aimed at.
Okay, so I'll play devil's advocate.
Please
You already
have
super schools.
Right.
Sarasota baseball program.
Right.
Manatee football, Venice football.
Right. They're all around the area.
And you just did a story the other day, a column about players leaving Sarasota High.
Yes.
Yeah, 7?
Right, but this was, again, this was before the school choice period, so these guys had to establish a different residence.
Right, yeah.
It's a little tougher
So
when
it's
it's
not
outside
like
the
it
school
doesn't
choice.
happen.
Oh, it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
So I think, in my mind, the most concerning part about this bill is that it could happen during the school year, as opposed to conventional school choices is now, you make your decision during the enrollment period and then you move. And this would allow them to move during the middle of a year, right? Maybe even during the season. Hey, our quarterback just went down. Hey, you think the guy over here at Sarasota might be better than what we got?
Yeah, but supposing you transfer schools and you think the grass is greener, and then you realize that the coach isn't nice to you, and then you want to go back to your old school. I talked to one coach. Basically, what this is going to do is this is going to encourage movement. It's going to be like free agency. One school goes here, blah, blah, blah. If there's room for you, you have an ability to transfer schools. The NCAA isn't even like this. If you're on scholarship and you want to go to a different college, you have to sit out and come back the next year. Now, you can transfer Wednesday.
Unlike coaches who quit the team, resign, go somewhere else, they get to go right away, and the players have to.
And the kid is sort of stuck without the coach that recruited him.
Yeah.
So it's the Wild West. Clyde Metcalf told me it's the most liberal state athletic policy out of any state in the country if it passes.
If it passes.
If it passes.
Yeah.
And
now,
it's
supposedly,
being rammed through.
Yeah, supposedly, actually by Don Gates, Senator Don Gates, who's a former superintendent of schools up in the Panhandle, which is interesting.
What one coach told me off the record, he's not exactly sure, he said this bill originated from a bunch of politicians who have kids who want to go to the school of their choice. So they got this bill up, get support, they ram it through, and before you know it, it is the Wild West.
Yeah, there's some sentiment. Some of the ADs, athletic directors are saying, let the Florida high school, whatever, blah, 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 activities and athletic association hammer this out. I think what the legislators are saying, you ain't made this work yet, so we're going to take it under our control.
But the reason the FHSAA might be behind this is, okay, before this rule, they had to deal with recruiting violations, guys leaving. Now it's like, well, our hands are washed for that. We don't have to investigate this because it is open season.
Actually, now there's provisions in the bill that say they would enhance the penalties for recruitment and blah, blah, blah. So the association actually is supporting it now, I believe, because of this enhanced enforcement ability. But
I know it's enhancement. I mean, okay, a coach can't tell a kid to come to my school, but a friend of his can say, hey, come over to our program. That's not recruiting. When a coach does it, it is recruiting. There are very, very ways to get out. St. Thomas Aquinas just won a state title. They're a Catholic school. They're allowed to recruit, and they're allowed to compete for a state title. IMG isn't.
Yeah, and my feeling is the Aquinas of the world should not be able to compete against the public high schools.
No.
Because it's you talk about unfair, unbalanced playing field, unlevel playing field. I think it's wrong. But this bill would also let private schools participate in the association on a per sport basis. So that's another significant change. For me, it boils down to the being able to change mid-year, in the middle of a year at any time.
And what does that show? That shows, and maybe these are old-fashioned values, doesn't show loyalty to a team. It doesn't show commitment. If a coach upsets you, then you can say, well, I'm going somewhere else just based on a personality conflict.
Yeah. Well,
it opens up a can of worms.
But that cuts both ways too. I mean, I think if you're a parent of a child and they're getting jacked around by the coach, or the coach is doing these summer programs that you supposedly don't have to participate in, but if you don't participate in it, you ain't making a team or you're not starting. I get that, and I get that you want to be able to act in the best interest of your child if you think that's important. But I think that mid-year thing is really troubling. And I think one thing that I talked to Lori White, the superintendent of schools in Sarasota County, she's saying, what about the kids who are in the program, been working all year, and all of a sudden somebody in the middle of the season or middle of the year somebody else comes in and bumps them. You have to take their position into consideration. So I think that's important as well.
Well, I mean, the kid who was there already, another kid comes in. Well, that kid who was replaced now has the opportunity to go to another school. They may have a vacancy for them. So a lot of cross movement. You played at Palmetto, so you wouldn't have to worry about this because no other school would have taken you.
No,
I mean, basically for athletic talent. I mean, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have been a factor back in your days.
No, but now it is.
Now it is.
Yeah. So,
So yeah,
right.
But it hasn't passed. But if it does pass, my understanding is this will take effect in July, very conveniently, right before the start of the next football season.
all right. All right, speaking of football season, the end of football season, actually you said the beginning of the football season, it's the end of football season, your Patriots got blown out.
I wouldn't call it a blowout. They were
Well,
manhandled.
Yeah. What did Brady look like? You mentioned it a minute ago.
He looked like one of those things we had as kids where you hit it and it would bounce back. They had a weight in the bottom of plastic and it would bounce right back up.
Good analogy. All right, so
it was permanently down.
Yeah, who are you picking?
This is a no-brainer in my book. I'm going with, put it this way, Neil Diamond, Sweet Carolina. Dun, dun, dun. That's my pick. I think they're physical. I think they run the ball. I think you're going to see the last of Peyton Manning. There's a reason, I'm not a gambling man, but there's a reason the line has gone up to 2 points. People are dumping money on Carolina. We may see an upset, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm going to pick Wade Phillips in the defense, and they're going to somehow figure out how to pressure Cam Newton. Not an easy task, but I think magic's going to happen.
You think Peyton Magic, Mr. HGH?
Yep.
He goes out on his shield.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Anything else?
I'm just glad to be back. I'm glad to be back with you. I'm glad you're back on air. You haven't lost your edge at all.
No, I haven't.
I'm just happy.
Yeah. What snacks are you going to have?
What's that?
What snacks are you going to have?
What snacks?
Super Bowls.
Oh, maybe a little that chicken dip, that hot chicken dip. Maybe some chicken wings. Maybe some more chicken. I'm just in a Chick-fil-A sort of mood. What are you going to have?
All right.
Are you going to Palmetto Meat Market? That's your big thing.
I am going to go to Palmetto Meat Market. Yeah, some wings from Chumley's, and my son-in-law likes them there. So,
if you want to see our editorial page editor actually out in public, a man of the people, Palmetto Meat Market Sunday.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, we're out of time.
Okay, all right, we're out of time. Thanks a lot.
Glad to be back. See you.
Bye.